Game Breaker TV.
Hey gamers, this is Ed Park. We're going to look at the combat mechanics for the MMO TERA. For TERA, there is no target mechanic. You don't select an opponent to attack and then use abilities. Instead, what you use are abilities that have a defined animation path, and if the animation path crosses a potential target, it will land on them. You can see the crosshairs just to the upper right above my character's shoulder. That's where the blows are going to land, plus any kind of archy or side effect animation effect. So, for example, if I'm swinging at this target from out here with my combo point attack, it's a spammable attack that builds MP or mana points. You can see if I'm out of range, it won't land. Now, once I get into range, it'll start to land. And this attack, if you're spamming it, it's very much like a jab for Ken or Ryu in Street Fighter, where it'll do a mini stun on the opponent, and if you hit your opponent enough times, it'll knock them down. Once I've got some MP built up, I can use special attacks such as this dual whirlwind swing attack that will consume MP. To hit multiple opponents, all you need to do is take an attack that has an AoE arc and get in the middle of your target. So I can use my whirlwind attack here, and you see I hit a lot of mobs, or I can simply use my combo point attack, which does have an arc effect. And you don't even have to be in front of your targets. You can be off to the side here. You can see as long as I can catch them in the side swing of that ability, it will land. Now, not all abilities have such wide swing effects. Some classes do much more of a conal or direct attack animations, such as the archer class for a lot of their single target abilities. Well, I shouldn't even call them single target abilities. Abilities that shoot in a straight line. In this game, there are no global cooldowns. Each ability has an animation, and once that animation is completed, you can take your next action. In addition, a lot of the animations have a self-root effect. So when I'm spamming my combo point attack, if I'm trying to move to the side here, every time I hit the attack, you see it roots me in place. And this takes some adjusting to get used to. It makes the combat in this game feel much closer to a game such as Tekken or Street Fighter, rather than a traditional MMO like World of Warcraft or Star Wars: The Old Republic. The different animations have different times. You can see that whirlwind attack takes a long time to resolve, and you can't do anything. Once you've activated the ability, you're stuck with waiting until the animation is completed. So I'll show you another animation here. As you level up, you get more and more abilities. So one of them here is this ability that I can then channel. Oops, I didn't target the opponent properly. That's hilarious. So I'll show you one of the other special effects, special abilities I can use once I've got some mana points built up here. So that ability has a knockdown effect. I almost missed the target with the animation. I was too close to him. Some animations have a pretty far travel distance. So you can see for this particular ability here, I'm all the way back here, and this should hit him. Also has a high chance to knock him down. Again, when you spam your combo point attack, it is very much, like I said, like a jab, where when you connect with your target, it has a chance to prevent them from taking any action for a short period of time. So it's like a mini stun or interrupting what they're trying to do. And it'll also apply effects such as a snare effect on your target. There is collision detection in this game, and it's influenced by the hitbox of your opponent. So you can see this mob here, which is pretty big. I have to run all the way around its hitbox in order to get around him. Whereas some of these other mobs here, like these little piglings, they're very small, so getting around them in terms of the collision detection is not a big deal. And this collision detection works whether you're trying to move past friendlies or opponents. Speaking of hitbox, it's one of the most important things to understand when rolling a character. The hitbox affects how easy it is to hit you. So if you create a character which is very tall and very broad, your opponents have a greater surface area to try to land attacks. And this is very noticeable, especially if you play a range class, you're trying to shoot someone, because targets don't stand still, and you have to shoot your target, especially for the attacks that shoot kind of an arrow or missile straight at your target, you have to hit your target somewhere to land the damage. So, for this reason, a lot of players in PvP are going with the shortest, skinniest combination of race, gender, and character size. I've also heard from reading a dev post that your hitbox influences the distance for your attacks, but it doesn't seem to be as noticeable as your chance to be hit for your hitbox. So, this character you're looking at here, this is a human Slayer. Slayer is a two-handed greatsword wielding class wearing light armor. And one of my guildies also rolled a Slayer, but one of the kind of more fairy or elf-like classes, and he made a really small skinny girl, and her greatsword looked pretty much as big as mine. The animations covered a pretty similar or the same distance from what we could tell. However, she was harder to hit in combat. So make sure to consider hitbox when you're rolling the character. I think it's unfortunate. I think games tend to be better when there is no game mechanics impact, regardless of whether you choose a male or female, what race you choose, and how tall or short you make your character, but it does matter in this game. If you're looking for more information on TERA, check out the links in the description for this video. The first link is to a nice breakdown of the 7 classes in TERA, including their mechanics, and some discussion on the hitbox. And the second link is to a post from the devs saying that they did try to balance out the hitbox from an attack perspective. Let me know what you think of this video, and if you have any questions, post them as a comment on YouTube or tweet them to me. Take care.
Game Breaker TV.